Hello, friends and lovers, and today we're going to be talking about. This was originally about racism, and then I couldn't find any video examples. You'll notice that my shirt is kind of thematic. It says, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. So, the idea behind this video comes from. Oh, yes, my favorite YouTubers that I always like to throw under the bus. I don't like watching people that I don't like, but I do have, like the same way that you do with your friends, like you have critiques and criticisms for things that they do. I am not close with these people, so I cannot call them out, in really another format. And I'm kind of making an example of them, which is not fair, but they're the examples that I have, so that's why we're doing this. So I've been basically binge watching all of I'm Alex's and James Marriott's videos for the last 3 weeks. And that's because they're great and they're very funny and they always pick very interesting topics to talk about. And I also am going to lump iNabber in here because he's sort of in their friend group. The issues that I've been finding with I'm Alex and James Marriott are still sometimes exemplified in iNabber's videos. And so this problem is that they keep on making reference to certain racist things and making it seem like it's not important or not a big enough deal to talk about. And I'm not sure if this is because they feel unqualified to talk about it, which is okay. I get it. Although I don't think anyone is unqualified to call out racism, but that's just me. I mean, I do a reasonable amount of activism, so maybe me using myself as a litmus test isn't fair.
Do you ever interrupt people when they're trying to tell an anecdote or something like that?
Not at all.
You never interrupt people?
No.
Okay, cunts. So it's like, look at these men. Fucking idiots. Have you seen these men, by the way? Retards.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there that we're not gonna talk about Alex's word use because all British people say the C word a lot, like a lot. And so we're just gonna completely have to ignore that. But I also want to make a note that clearly Alex recorded this video when he was being, like a woman, overly emotional. The style of his mocking of this woman is clearly misogynistic. I don't think Alex is a misogynistic person. But I do think it's important to point out that he did this. I also think that this is a somewhat older video. I think it's a year or 2 years old. Time passes and I think he's a different person now, and I don't think he would make this kind of video with this kind of criticism now. But and I do think that he left it up because it's important to show growth and also to not be afraid of things that you did in the past. So that's an interesting point, which is not cute and it's not sexy either. And we're all about being sexy here on this channel. So I came up with the best acronym possible for what it truly means to be sexy. And since all of my subscribers are my lovers, I think you're all sexy. What that means is you're socially responsible, engaged, extra compassionate, and you care about justice. That's what it means to be sexy. I recently did a video on the dumb-ass James Charles controversy that's going on, where he went to the UK and everyone in Britain made something super unimportant into a big fucking deal, because that is the British way. They will always do it. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just watch Love Island. This doesn't go anywhere. I just like my Love Island comment, so it's staying in. I'm sorry, I didn't script this video. And then also there were a few videos that Alex made like a year back or so about a trans YouTuber who was trying to make videos on activism. Were that person's videos very good? I would say no, because I think that person encouraged lazy wokeness, which is when you sit on your computer and you spout things to the internet and you don't actually volunteer and you don't actually go to rallies or call your senators or do anything that is what activism actually is, because you're not being active. I thought that Alex sort of made a mockery of her in a way that is a little unfair, because when your community has been disenfranchised for years and years and years and are still being disenfranchised and are actually the population at the population at the highest risk of murder, you should get some slack. It's the same thing as getting a handicap in bowling or in golf, because you aren't sort of at the same level as everyone else. And so then it's unfair to put you on the same to measure you by the same scale. And so I thought that some of his critiques were a little unfair. I will obviously be linking that video down below. You can feel free to check it out. And you might not agree with me, like maybe I'm being too harsh on Alex, but I also think that everyone should be held to a really high standard of caring about marginalized groups of people. That's like my big thing. I mean, most of my videos are about caring about, the underdog, because you should care about them. I don't know. It seems totally like natural to me to care about other people, but I want to say that there are similar themes that I've seen in James Marriott videos. They're just not coming to mind. So hopefully in post, I will insert some video clips here. Mostly this video comes from my frustrations of these three creators sort of brushing off racism and sexism and a little bit of transphobia here and there, and just saying like, it doesn't matter enough for me to talk about. Which, when you have influence, it's important to use your influence for being sexy. Or at least that's what I think it's important to use influence for, because the dissemination of values and information can then create stronger action. It's the same thing that like religious leaders do, which is where they are trying to encourage and inspire their congregations to, do charity work or donate or be kind to their neighbor, things like that, which are all good things and things that everyone should be doing. And so that's what I have to say. As someone who watches their channels, I try to call out this behavior in their comment sections, which is not much, but I don't also want to harass them on all social media. I think, they should be cognizant of it, but they shouldn't have to suffer for it, because they probably haven't experienced that much oppression, and so they're not as aware of it. They probably haven't done that much activism or, social justice work, so it's we're all sort of a product of what led us to this point in our lives. Things that happened to us before we could really have a say in our lives, things that happened to us that were out of our control, and things that happened to us as a result of things that we did individually. And so I think that I'm Alex and James Marriott probably have not had experiences to make them super cognizant of these things or make them feel like they need to really be very concerned with racism and sexism, or they might not feel like they are prepared to call it out. But I do think that it is important to let them know when these things that they do in their videos upset you as a viewer. So I think for those of you watching this video, you should make mention to your favorite creators or to any creator that you're watching when they sort of fall into this category of brushing off racism because they don't think it's a big enough deal. Because I think that by allowing little sort of comments to slip by is not helpful, and it's also not good for the world. But yeah, don't, hate flame them. Just sort of, if you're watching a video from someone, they make this sort of thing that I view to be a mistake, and you are in agreement with me, then feel free to call out creators. If I ever say something that is accidentally racist, sexist, transphobic, biphobic, which, would be crazy for me to do something that was sexist, transphobic, or biphobic, considering I have to deal with those three things, but it's still possible. Feel free to call me out. I'm not above any of these things. We all make mistakes, and we all are here on this earth to learn and improve. Sorry it was a little convoluted. I hope my point made sense. If you like this, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I mostly do videos on social issues, social justice, and, then some book reviews. Yeah. Let me know what you thought of this, because this is something that I wanted to make a video on, and I'm not so sure that it made sense. Yes. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
Oh, Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how could I resist you? Mamma Mia, does it show again?